Hello, everybody. Thank you for clicking on. Um, thought I had started one of the things at the beginning, and I had a minute or two, and I look up and we're on. So, hello. Thank you for clicking on. Greatly appreciated. And we are just getting rolling tonight. Haiti. Chris is going to be joining us here momentarily. Three primary subjects tonight: Haiti, the um, primaries in some swing states and some significance there, and the committee meeting in the House of Representatives today, and a really interesting committee meeting in the House of Representatives. Let me turn the big screen off so that, again, say hello. Um, okay, be, while we're waiting for Chris, I'm going to answer something from the mailbag, as they say, something from the email. If you want to email americandufus, AMERICANDUFUS at gmail.com. Had a question about Elon Musk and Donald Trump. The episodes back, I had mentioned that Musk's private jet was tracked to Palm Beach, and meeting with Trump, and whether anything came of that or not, and could I update? Um, what I am hearing is that the meeting was um, Trump wanted Musk to buy Truth Social, Trump to Twitter at the time, now X, and the asking price for Truth Social was not what Musk thought the value should be. Also, knowing that Trump's in a bit of a bind, is going to milk that for all it's worth. Keep that in mind if something were to come up. Desperately trying to get money to extend an appeal um, on the fraud charges, and he's got to realize that the chief financial officer of his organization has pled guilty um, to perjury in federal court, that he lied about everything in federal court. Raise the money. He has until Monday. And if he doesn't have the money by Monday, then the state of New York starts seizing assets. What's that look like? We'll talk about that in an upcoming episode, I'm sure. But in the meantime, we're going to get Chris up here. Chris, how are you?
Pretty good. I mean, how about yourself?
I'm hanging in there, man. Thank you for asking.
Good.
Got to say hi to Pat Tolliver. Not going. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being in the chat. And let's get to it, Chris. The last thing I got was about 5 hours ago in regards to Haiti, and it was that Peytonville is under heavy gunfire, and everything is paralyzed as the suburb comes under attack. So you kind of want to talk about that. Give me a second here to get this map up. You go ahead and talk about Peytonville and the
All right.
significance of that area being under attack.
All right. Um, Understand that Port-au-Prince is really broken down to 3 seconds. It's you got Lower Port-au-Prince, Dalmas, and Peytonville. Uh, Peytonsville is actually named after the third president of Haiti, Peyton, and he was actually a mulatto. He was half black, half white guy. So, like, if you ever go up into that area, you would see a lot of people like myself, um, light skin, green eyes. um, people like that. But I mean, it's really a mix. But you're gonna see more people that are, look like they are mixed. But I don't know if your
Mm-hmm.
audience remembers. I told you about the oligarchs, the
Yeah.
elites. Now they come from Lebanon and Syria, and they
The
came.
the 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 elite that are living in Peytonville,
Yeah,
PE. It's P. It's right here on the map. Here, let me zoom in one more time. Um, you were talking about the different areas of, and we've zoomed in here on Port-au-Prince. It's PETILLE,
uh-huh,
and
exactly.
it's kind of in the highlands, if you will. It's
It,
at
it,
an
it,
upper elevation,
yeah, yeah,
over
yeah, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of overlooking.
Yeah. It's
Go
kind of
ahead.
overlook. It's kind of like overlooking um, Port-au-Prince, and
Okay.
like I said, Port-au-Prince, Haiti is actually very mountainous, very mountainous country. So, uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but going up to Paytonsville, it's like going up a very steep hill from Lower Port-au-Prince all the way up to Dalmas to Paytonsville. It's a very steep hill that you have to climb. But anyway, that's where the oligarchs live, and or the elites, and they, like I said, are from they're of Syrian and Lebanese descent, and they came there. They migrated in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and they're the ones that control um, a good like 95% what goes on in Haiti, and they're only the 5% that you know are in charge of the 95%. So Cherizier had already this is the second part of the insurgency. Then he pretty much got rid of Henri. Now he's going after the oligarchs because he's basically cleaning house, and that's part of the social concept, the social structure, and an insurgency.
Okay. So
Lou,
the how big of an area? Obviously, the airport, the actual port itself, and now it seems like maybe the only last remaining spot could be this the elite. Is that
right?
an,
So the airport is on. It's going to be on lower. It's like really close to Delmas, right?
mm-hmm.
That's on the lower end. It's almost like in the middle, but it's on the lower end. But then also
Okay.
um, the ports. Of course, that's going to be in the waterways. But then when you talk about um, Haydenville, that's going to be up a little bit in the mountains. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much
So if you were going to take over everything, you would take over the lower areas first, isolate that upper area, and make that phase two of the insurgency.
right. So phase two is them basically getting rid of the oligarchs, but they have to be able to hold that territory, from Paytonsville down.
Okay. Interesting that they're Syrian and Lebanese descent, and it's not. Is there a significant Muslim movement on the island,
Uh,
or
to
or
my
it?
to the best of my knowledge, there isn't. There is not.
Go ahead.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think there is.
Okay. All right. So um, let's move to one other thing I heard, um, and it's regard to they're trying to stabilize the area. All right. Talk about what that means from a from a United States perspective when we say we're going to stay mean?
All right. So since they're trying to overthrow or take control of that area, what they're going to do is they're going to try to take that area back from them, and they're going to clear or try to clear and hold that area. So now that they control it, so that's going to be the stabilization, and so that way they can do what needs to get done, like provide humanitarian assistance or whatever needs to get done. But now they're going to control it, all right, and they're going to like start. I don't know about the infrastructure, but I know they're going to start providing humanitarian assistance to that area to garner that support from the community, so they can turn that support against the bad guys, since the bad guys or the Sharizi's people is not um, giving them humanitarian assistance. You see,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing, just the opposite side.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go on the opposite side here, and I'm going to try to look at this from an outsider, total outsider's point of view, and try to remove my political expertise or whatever, inexpertise, whatever, however you want to look at it. Um, and I'm going to ask: Is it the U.S. has rather avoided this all the way up until the point where now that the oligarchs are under threat, the United States needs to have an step in an emergency basis? Is that is there a coincidence there?
I don't know. I don't believe in coincidences, right?
Right.
So, um, whatever the United States government does at that, for whatever reason, I
It's
don't
just one
know.
of
I don't know
those
exactly.
something to think about.
Right.
Okay, the Haitian Americans say they appreciate the State Department's charter flights out of Cape Haitian. It's difficult, if not impossible, to safely travel there from anywhere else in the country. Um, and this is someone. This is a former ambassador. He's putting an international security force on the ground to secure PAP Port-au-Prince, the airports and the port.
Well,
So
that's really going to be difficult. Um, like I said, I don't know how many people they're going to put on the ground. But keep in mind, there's a whole. This is what they're telling you. You have to be concerned about what they're not telling you. You see, um,
that's why people watch. That's why the people that watch us because we kind of give them an idea what they're not telling us.
right, right. So, like I said, if those international security forces, just let's just say that they were to come in and take over the airport. The thing about that is now they make themselves sitting targets. Okay.
People people are going to
Exactly.
die.
So,
Let's. What about the optics of this? You're going to have white soldiers coming onto black people's land, killing black people.
here's the thing. I'm not so sure that the United States government is going to be sending troops. That's a
Still, you
possibility.
think they're going to like try to revive the send in 2000?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be 2,000. From my understanding, it'll be more like 600. Because the Kenyans are saying, I really don't want to do this, since um,
Okay, which makes sense, but 600 troops isn't going to get the job done. I don't anticipate. Would you?
no, but you still have to. They still have other troops like the Jamaicans and whoever else is slated to you know
Who
assist.
else
I think it's like
is
Jamaica.
slated to get a piece of the pie
Yeah,
once the people that seem to be for Haitians Once those people get eliminated, then everybody gets a piece of the pie
Right.
because that's how it's always
So
been in the past.
right, and nothing's going to change. That hasn't changed at all. So um, the game, like I said, the game's not going to change. Um, I think Henri, he's still acting prime minister because the
Puerto
transition.
Rico, last I heard.
Right, but he's still acting as the prime minister. He hasn't stepped down as of yet because that transitional council hasn't been approved. So he's actually still acting prime minister.
Okay, this transitional council that is supposed to come in, um, is Sherzai or Guy Philippe, are they,
Um,
or is
I
this
don't think
strictly
I don't, I don't think Cherizier is, nor do I think Guy Philippe has been put on. And the reason I'm saying it, just because allegedly of their criminal histories,
mm-hmm,
right? But I kind of look at it from the micro macro standpoint. If Cherizier and Guy Philippe are able to bring stability to the country and they have the community support and they're better than everyone else, why would you not utilize them? Even though they do have criminal past, that's the micro. The big picture is the stability and to bring the self determination to the country. That's what you have to be. That's what you look at.
if you're wanting a stabilization, it needs to be done not by force but by understanding that self-rule, self-determination is what is at the key to this, and by not acknowledging that, or are they acknowledging going to be some kind of vote? Um, it just seems like not only the United States, but it's basically us and Russia probably at the moment, and maybe a little bit of France, but we tend to just go in and say this is how things are going to be, and expect people to kowtow instead of see this as some kind of veiled enslavement.
Right. But so, and the thing about it, and someone told me, it's like, since we give them, a certain amount of money, I mean, yes, we do have a say in it. I say, okay, yeah, got it. But the whole purpose of countries is their self determination for what they want to make themselves better. And for the longest time, the international community has actually been controlling Haiti. So there's no way in the world they could ever have self determination and freedom. It just it doesn't work that way. You have to have a clean economy to get to the state where you need to be. You see, and since they just got done
Mm-hmm.
paying France off in 1947, and then you also had all the U.S. military interventions and the occupation within Haiti, that screwed up stuff even more. And now you have sanctions on different Haitian individuals, but sanctions on Haiti. Period. So they're never going to get out of anything. It's just a way to control them. There's no self determination in that whatsoever.
And you and I've been talking about this for a few months. We've talked about what would happen when Guy Philippe got out of prison and was back on the island. We talked, would Jimmy Barbecue Cherzay actually follow through on his claims that, look, if you guys don't get this straightened up, we're gonna do it. And
Right, and you know what? I've told people this about a gazillion times before. The government of Haiti and the United States government and the international community screwed up by not engaging with them, with what we call the power brokers, community leaders, gang leaders, whatever you want to call them.
mhm,
Okay, because
one man's gang leader's
right,
another
but
man's freedom
it's
fighter.
bigger than that, right? So here's the thing.
Hmm. Much.
So
Oh, it's
here's the
much
thing,
bigger
right?
than that.
If these so-called community leaders, power brokers, gang leaders, they have the biggest voice, and you know why? Because they have the guns and they have the manpower to overthrow the government. See, they can stabilize or destabilize the government and the country of Haiti. Okay, as you can
Hmm.
see now, and they were
Within a
saying
matter of days.
right, and the government of Haiti has, and the United States government and the ICO, we've talked to stakeholders um, and civil society members, but I'm like, you fail to talk to the people that really hold the power, and that's the gang leaders, the power brokers, community leaders. They're the ones that really wield the power and have the biggest voice because they can stabilize or destabilize the government, and you totally ignore these people. But you see now
What
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 they're doing.
crimes what crimes are they charged with,
All right, so Guy Philippe,
or what? They've both done time. They're out. They've got
no,
they've
no,
got criminal
no.
records.
So
No.
Guy Philippe was sent to prison in the United States, I think for money laundering. I think he did
Okay.
16 years, and then
He did 6 years.
6 or 7 years,
Okay.
and then also uh, Theresier has been charged. I think he's got an arrest warrant, but like for like homicide, some other stuff, But they no one's arrested him as of yet because I don't think they can get to him. But the point is, all right, look, yeah, he might have done that, but it's not like I said. It's not like he's going out killing innocent people. It's not like he's killing civilians, putting his gun on civilians. He's putting his
As far
gun
as we know.
right. So he's putting his guns on other gang members, other soldiers. So that's just business. You see, it's
Yeah. From your side, I do see how it's like that. From the average person's side, especially if they don't know the background, they're just saying this guy's a murderer and he's just going to keep on murdering until we stop.
right,
We've got to send
and
troops
that's
in.
not the whole story. You see, so the
Hmm.
whole thing about Cherizier and P. Philippe, well, Cherizier, he's to me he's a real revolutionary. All right, so you want to talk about the NFAC? He's the real NFAC. You hear me?
Yeah.
And you know what NFAC stood for?
Yeah.
Well, he's laying it down.
Interesting. That's an interesting coalition.
All right.
Correlation.
Uh huh.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah.
So
Um, Lori Arnold says hello to me and you. Hi, Lori Arnold. And again, thank you all for watching. Everybody that's watching, those of you watching at your convenience, thank you for looking in. Those live, we greatly appreciate it. If you got a question or comment, don't hesitate to drop it. I'm going to try to pop back over and check on the chat more than I have been because we just got a few topics tonight. So, all right. Um, all between a vast majority of the Dominican Republic and Haiti,
right,
correct?
there's a fence. There's a fence, but I think they were building a wall.
Okay.
So, and that wall was really to keep the the Haitians out of the DR.
And I did see that a boat overloaded stopped by the Coast Guard off of Turks Caicos.
Right, and like I said, it's gonna be really hard for them to make it all the way to the United States. It's really. I mean, they'd be easier if they just go to Puerto Rico.
Which is U.S. territory.
Right, but it's just the next. It's the next island east.
Right,
So
right,
why would you travel all the way up north? And face. I mean, but bottom line, anywhere they go, the Coast Guard and Navy is going to be there because they're looking for them.
right. Let me pop this out and just remind everybody. Um, this is Haiti. This is the Dominican Republic, and then they're two separate countries. And then San Juan, of course, is biggest city in Puerto Rico. Here's Turks and Caicos, Jamaica, the Caymans, and then down this way the British Virgin. So let's transition real quick here before we move on. I I I said the other night that maybe this was the Caribbean Spring, that we had had an Arab Spring when freedom and overthrow of oppression was echoing throughout the Middle East. It got quashed. Seeing some rumblings in Cuba, Chris. Could this be a domino effect as we talked about again months ago?
Yes, indeed. But we don't know the capabilities of the Cuban people. You see,
Mm-hmm.
we knew what was coming with Haiti back in what was that, early 2023, right?
Yeah.
So this whole thing with Cuba is relatively new. But we talked about how this revolution could catch on, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
you see what's going on right now in Cuba. So and I like to go back to the um, the original Haitian Revolution in 1791 to 1804, and how
That was the original Haitian
right.
Revolution.
So they did not want that out for the simple fact that they didn't want the slaves to get wind of what happened in Haiti, to get any ideas and turn against their slave masters and revolt. So it was more or less,
Right.
oh, you know what, we got to keep this under wraps. We can't let these people find out what happened because if we do, we're going to get overthrown the same way that the French did. But you see what happened in Cuba. The word got out, and it's just like, yo, we're sick of this stuff too. But it only takes one to spark a revolution, and then everything else comes along with it.
Um, on from 1 to 10, Chris. To 10, two two different questions. From 1 to 10, how close are we to um, Russia engaging NATO? I know that's like totally
No, but you know what, that could be a six.
okay.
It's just talk right now, you know. Um, but every day is
The
different. I mean,
second,
every day is going to be different.
yeah, we're hearing more and more about saber rattling from France, that and possibly already French involvement. All right, the second, from 1 to 10, how close are we in the United States to a totally different philosophical, but at the same time let's say.
Six, six. Well, both of them about sixes. And like I
Okay.
said, as things get closer to election, things will start to heat up a lot more.
And I, I think I've been clear on this. I don't think either Trump or Biden is going to be president. Um, and I'm growing more and more in the camp that we won't even have an. Yay! I know that's bright, sunny, happy rainbows, but you know, we spend an hour on here a couple of times a week talking about honesty and not, people don't watch this because we're going to tell you what you want to hear. We're going to tell you what we feel like you need to be thinking about. The reason I asked those, Chris, our first scroll tonight. NATO says to stock up on batteries, flashlights, radio, water, and that peacetime is over. Um, and this came out 4 hours ago. Um, I don't remember if this is in English or not, so let's listen.
The first 36 hours. Things like that.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. I reached over to turn it up.
You need to have water, you need to have a flashlight on batteries to make sure that you can survive the first 36 hours. Things like that. That's simple things. But it starts there. The realization that not everything is plannable, not everything is going to be honky dory in the next 20 years. I'm not saying it is going wrong tomorrow, but we have to realize it's not a given that we are in peace. And that's why we have the plans. That's why we a conflict with Russia and the terror groups. If it comes to it, if they attack us, we're not seeking any conflict. But if they attack us, we have to be ready.
Couple of things in there, Chris. Um, not everything is plannable.
Yeah, and when you know what when he sat there and said we're not looking for a confrontation. Only if Russia attacks us. What they're really saying is, well, when we attack Russia, this is what we have to be concerned about. Just take whatever they say. Just take the opposite of what they say.
Okay. So but basically, is this not a warning that primarily the European countries being closest to Russia, but it's not like we're outside the reach of an attack from Russia. Um, is this, how significant is this warning from NATO?
Oh, it's very significant. Listen, don't forget that they have like subs off the coast of Florida and off the coast of off the East Coast.
Exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
that's been reported.
While so the thing is, while the Ukraine war seems like it's a long way away, and why is it significant? Well, modern technology has shrunk what far, far away really means because, like you said, not only, I mean, are the first thing everybody thinks of, and it's like that's the doomsday option. We'll never use that. It doesn't mean that more tactical nukes would not be used, or even conventional weapons. But I don't think they would hit us with conventional weapons. I think if Russia ever strikes us, it has to be nuclear.
Yeah, of course.
And uh, and this from Donald Trump. This came in like 2 hours ago, I think. 9 hours ago. Okay. But okay, so this is from Donald Trump this afternoon. Since January 6th, they have been after me on the greatest witch hunt the world has ever seen. Um, One of Trump's philosophies that he picked up from studying Goebbels and the Nazi propaganda machine was to accuse the other side of that which you are doing. And committee hearings today, this that the witch hunt has actually been directed at Joe Biden this whole time. That being said, Many patriots have been put in jail only because Trump told them to be at the Capitol. Wrong place, wrong time. That's what they say. They listened and tried to fight like hell to take back their country. I won't stop fighting even if it means that we do it again, MAGA. So, um, this person says that Trump's admitted to his crime on January 6th. I don't think it's going to be looked at that way, but I look at it as this is the seventh time that I'm aware of that he has put out a dog whistle that, be ready, stand back, but stand by.
Yeah, didn't he say? Didn't he say that?
From the, he did that. He had the balls.
He said that to the public.
He had the balls to do that in the debate. Yeah. And then in Dayton, Ohio, this last week, he used bloodbath, and then 3 times since then, he's gone on to try to explain what a bloodbath is, and now he's saying, "I won't stop fighting if it means that we do it again." Of course, he's not going to rise up and do anything, but he's telling his people, he's getting his people opinion, and
Right. Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's a
That's
threat.
what it is.
And that's one of the reasons I'm in the camp of we won't have an election. Um, they're not going to wait until the election. Donald Trump is incredibly pressured now. He's pressured economically. He's being pressured. He just saw Peter Navarro go to jail. He's being pressured by the thought that they're going to put me in and they're going to put me in jail. And the only way to stop him is we have to go to war. And and that to me, I see it. I see it very clearly, and it's very troubling. Um, I mentioned the I mentioned the committee hearings, and this is just going to add more pressure. Lev Parnas accepted responsibility for his crimes, and Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and others attempted to discredit Joe and Hunter Biden before the 2020 election using Russian disinformation. And this guy posting is a Republican.
2019, I was a key participant and a witness to numerous efforts to prove that Joe and Hunter Biden were linked to corruption in Ukraine. Rudy Giuliani, on behalf of then President Donald Trump, tasked me with a mission to travel the globe, finding dirt on the Bidens so that an array of networks could, thus securing the 2020 election for Donald J. Trump. Ironically, when I was arrested, my original indictment linked me to an individual referred to as unindicted co-conspirator 1. We now know this individual to be Congressman Pete Sessions, who sits on this very committee today. Today I ask you to consider the following. In nearly a year traveling the world and interviewing officials in different countries, I found precisely zero evidence of the Biden's corruption in Ukraine. No credible source has ever provided proof of criminal activity, nor the NSA. No respectable Ukrainian official has ever said that the Bidens did anything illegal, including former President Poroshenko and former Prosecutor General Yuri Lutsenko. Even when CEO of Burisma, Nicholas Lachevsky, was offered a deal by Rudy Giuliani in exchange for information on the Bidens, he provided none, because there is none. The only information ever pushed on the Bidens in Ukraine has come from one source, and one source only, agents.
This is just the latest in former Trump associates that are coming out and will be coming out saying what the guy did, and it becomes incredibly evident why he needs immunity so bad. And I believe his only motivation for running for president is to try to stay out of jail. My personal opinion, and that's not what this is about. This is about it. If you get a chance, listen to this guy's entire testimony, because it got so bad that he incriminated everybody. Bill Barr, the attorney general, was in on it. Trump, everybody but Pence um, was not going to benefit from it. So he either was not invited or chose not to be involved. It got so bad that a Democrat actually challenged the Republicans to impeach Joe Biden. And this is, uh, it's 18 seconds, so let's just listen.
I think we should do it today. Let's just call for it. I can second it, right? Like, make the motion to impeach President Biden. Go ahead. It's your turn. You second it. No, nothing. Okay, we got nothing. So I want it with my last couple. I think we should do it today. Let's just call for it. I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman. I want to help you out. You can second it, right? Like, make the motion to impeach President Biden. Go ahead. Your turn. You second it. No, nothing. Okay, we got nothing. So
This has all been political theater. Um,
Yeah.
and it's at the detriment of even what the Democrats are doing. This is political theater. You know this Moskowski did. Moskowitz did. It's political theater. A guy wore a Putin mask to the hearing today. They're making that our nation has some very serious concerns as far as citizenry is concerned, and they've been on a witch hunt that they knew all along there was nothing there. That includes Hunter Biden's laptop, which I saw on the dark web back in September of 2021 or something, and knew that there was nothing on there but sex and drugs, and told people that. Anyway, the primaries happened yesterday, Chris, in several key states. I know this isn't your thing, but Trump endorsed GOP Ohio Senate candidate Bernie Moreno. This is what he looks like without the makeup, by the way. And for those that don't know, they all all of them are, have hair and makeup people, which I just found absurd when I was running. Republicans shouldn't vote for him. They have a choice on the other side. Now this is in Ohio. So, Nikki Haley was picking up 1 out of every 8 votes, and she doesn't even have a campaign. Nobody in his inner circle is going to tell him beat. And I'm going to keep saying that so that some of the Trump people might get it through their heads going, if we do get to an election, you got beat 8 months ago, and you're just going to get beat worse and worse and worse as time goes along, unless Joe Biden does something incredibly drastic, or Donald Trump does something incredibly drastic, which I think he's going to do. There's no benefit for me telling you all this stuff, because if that does happen, we're not going to have internet, we're not going to have electricity. I'm not going to be on here saying, I told you all this was going to happen. I'm telling you all it's going to happen, referencing back to the beginning of this, so you prepare. You prepare individually. You prepare as your household. You prepare as your family. Whatever it is, nucleus, things are going to shrink up fast. Loyalties, trust, things like that disappear fast in times of peril. Am I correct, Chris?
That's 110%. You're on. You're spot on.
Okay. You do not tell anybody that would potentially vote, especially in a race against a popular sitting senator who leans, who's more a moderate Republican than he is a Democrat. And I know the dude personally. Um, so the people that are in alignment with Trump, I think they probably also know that there's not going to be an election. That their hope is overwhelming uprising, and that they're going to be the ones left in power. That's what I observe from the primaries. Because again, nobody in his inner circle is going to have the guts to tell him, look, you've got to really change your campaign strategy, and you've got to start saying that hey, we need all the Republicans. What I said about you, we don't want you. He said that repeatedly. People hear that win a campaign. So he's not getting the information that you're losing, and you're losing. And once that pendulum of losing starts going the other direction, it's really tough to swing it back your way. And they're not telling him that. And he's going to keep telling his people that we're winning and we're winning big, so that when they don't win and when they get absolutely mauled because of the numbers we're seeing in these swing states, they're not going to believe it. That's the whole strategy. Big lie number 2 already underway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what I see anyway. And again, this is my opinion. This is not what um, I put it on. But do you hear that Reagan, McCain, Romney, Bush Republicans? Here's yet another candidate following Trump and saying he doesn't want your vote. Um, Again, I'm citing Republicans talking about him. The Democrats don't have to talk about him, because the Republicans that have worked with him um, are the person he is. And I found this odd, Chris. In the same hearing, by the way, the hearing ended when Raskin said, let's get Donald Trump in here. Um, he tried to get them to
Arabia after his service.
he tried to get them to subpoena Jared Kushner.
Chair, now.
I have a motion. I would move pursuant to Clause 2K6 of Rule 11 that the committee issue a subpoena to Jared Kushner to compel testimony related to the $2 billion collected from Saudi Arabia after his service within the White House.
Second.
There's a motion, and for what purpose does the gentleman from Ohio seek recognition?
Move to table the motion.
There's the motion is not the motion to table is not debatable. Signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed signify by saying no.
No.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion to.
So that's how it's done. That's why we don't hear from Jared Kushner. The guy yelled really, really loud, and the no's were louder. But in the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
There you go.
Kushner got $2 billion from Saudi Arabia. Why isn't he loaning his father-in-law, Donald J. Trump, the former president, $500 million to get out of this?
I have no idea. He probably spent it on something stupid. But it's kind of hard to spend $2 billion. Did you say $2 billion?
Yeah, he got $2 billion from the Saudis 2 months after he was a chief advisor in the White House to them.
So he got $2
And
billion.
Yeah, and the Democrats wanted to investigate that, and the Republican chair said, "No, we'll table that. We're not gonna consider that."
Yeah, because they probably had to
Um,
pay him all. He probably had to pay them all off. They had to spread that money around. Don't think that's not. Don't think that's not what happened, right?
that could be because one has said that Kushner handed him U.S. intelligence.
For $2 billion. Yeah, yeah, possibly. And then
Yeah,
yeah, just wow.
and they don't want to investigate it. I'm just saying. Um,
Whatever.
I got one other thing. I got one other thing here on Kushner, real quick. Let me get down to it. Here we go. Jared Kushner says Gaza waterfront property could be very valuable. Have we heard that before, Chris? When did we say that
Oh,
that was the motive?
didn't we? We told them this, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah,
I told people, hey, you might want to start investing in Gaza now. That was what, like 5 months ago,
yeah.
6 months ago.
27% Trump. 20% voted against him in Florida. Um, you can't win. You can't win an election. You see, a lot of people think, "Oh my gosh, well, why are you going to go out and vote for the primary because there's only Trump and there's only Biden?" Well, you got Senate, you got the House, you've got governor's races. There are a lot of other people on the ballots in primaries to president, so people do go out and vote. This is more bad news. At least a half a dozen major Nikki Haley donors are now fundraising for Biden, including former chair of MGM, Harry Sloan. They're operating as fundraisers for President Biden's reelection campaign. Um, things are unraveling for the guy, and I think the more dangerous that is, and we need to be aware of. Um, Officer involved shooting. Um, a prisoner was taken to a hospital, and while he was in the hospital, one of his buddies broke in or went into the hospital and broke the guy out, and they are they are on the loose in Boise, Idaho. Began at 2:15. Idaho Department of Corrections officer transported inmate Skylar Mead for medical treatment as they were preparing to leave to transport Mead back. An unknown suspect attacked the officers, striking two of them. Um, and then um, preliminary investigation indicated Mead and the shooting suspect got into a gray four-door sedan, fled the area. Officers arriving. So um, that's underway in Boise. And I covered 2 years ago, Chris. I covered the 1776 restoration movement because this guy said he was going to go into Washington D.C. and start a basically finish what January 6th started. Was actually the first stream I ever watched was a stream called Oreo Express, and Jason Phillips, a young black uh, live streamer, was part of that effort, along with a guy named Josh Fulfer, who's a dastardly person, in my opinion. And Jason Phillips was killed in a crash. It was Tesla Cybertruck rolled over and killed both of the people. Neither one of them were wearing seat belts, but that was That happened over this past weekend, sadly. Um, this also, Chris, Chinese cyber actors on U.S. critical infrastructure. Article highlighted by the U.S. Army's 700 Infrastructure Security Agency. In the last 6 months, our incident response effort has confirmed that the People's Republic of China's cyber actors have been on our critical infrastructure network, and in some cases up to the last 5 years, which is confirming I said something a while back about the Volt, what was it called? Volt Typhoon. Let's see if we got anything else here. Again, Lev Parnas, just Google Parnas, or if you're on Facebook, or I'm sorry, he may be on Facebook. If you're on YouTube or here on Twitter, just the guy, the testimony the guy had today, if what he said was truth, and this gets out because I don't expect Fox to broadcast any of this. I don't expect Newsmax or any of the far right to broadcast any of this testimony because it would wake some of those people up. Some of them know, but some of them are ready for war.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Sure.
One final thing before we're getting close here. Everybody to somebody. Chris, have you heard of Eric Weinstein?
No, I have not.
Okay. I don't expect anyone to have. He's somebody that I've followed for a while. I like listening to people that I feel like are a lot smarter than me because I like to learn things, and it's becoming harder and harder. I don't know if they're all dying off or people are getting dumber or what, but and this is he's on the Joe Rogan show. Most people know who Joe Rogan is, and this is from 4 years ago.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
You want to get really nuts?
Yes.
It's time to leave
Time to leave what?
this planet.
Oh, boy. Listen, we could...
A little background. One of, if not the leading what's it called? It's a type of physicist. Theoretical. This guy's like who Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory would be if Sheldon Cooper were for real.
Leave this planet. I got something right here.
No.
Take you to another planet right now.
He's
You got to recognize Rogan here. All right, the guy says it's time to leave the planet. Rogan taps his box and says, I got some killer weed over here that take you to another planet right now.
fucking federal agents.
Just kidding, federal agents.
Let me give you my argument.
Where are we going?
Well, we don't know that we can leave this planet.
I love this planet.
I love this
I
planet.
have a good time here.
It's my favorite planet.
Mine, too.
I know.
But here's the real reason.
We started a clock around 1953, which is when we had the explosion at Bikini, the first hydrogen bomb, and when we figured out the double helix. And I call this the twin nuclei problem, and it began in 1953. In 1953, we started a clock. It was also the height of the McCarthy era. We do not have the wisdom to be able to fuse nuclei with the cell. It's too much power. So our wisdom may have increased slightly. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. But our power is now godlike.
So our biological intelligence, what our minds are capable of, has not, it's been surpassed by our intellectual achievements in terms of our technological innovation.
These things, which while complicated, succumb to our intellects, right? Like they're much simpler than we ever imagined. To be able to create something that normally happens in the sun on an island in the Pacific, or to be able to rewrite a cell the way Craig Venter did, with synthetic biology. We are now gods, but for the wisdom. And
great line.
That's a great quote. We are now gods, but for the wisdom. Picture you. We are now gods, but for the wisdom. That's going to be up there.
Continue.
Someone's doing
Focus.
that right now.
I know. Let's not focus. Focus.
Sorry.
Okay. So that started this clock. And the world's...
What he's talking about is the first hydrogen bomb in Bikini Atoll, and how we created the same power that we generated on this island. What happens on this to provide light and power to the whole solar system, and basically we're not smart enough to know what to do with it.
Most serious human beings should be working on the twin...
Go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, finish up.
Nuclei problem. What do we do with new godlike powers given our history of conflict, our history of envy, our history of madness, right? Because we succumb regularly. We are, I was born 20 years, I don't know what really happened there. I mean, we're nuts. We're absolutely not capable of this level of responsibility. And so the question that we have is, do we believe that we have a long-term solution in terms of increasing our wisdom? We should definitely try it. Everybody who believes that should work on that problem. But if we don't think that we have the wisdom to live like this, we don't know how much time we have left. But it's probably not hundreds. I mean, it's probably maybe a few hundred. You're going to have Putin-like, Trump-like people. I mean, I'm sorry, I would have a very deep antipathy towards Donald Trump. He's not temperamentally fit to have the secrets of theoretical physics at his fingertips. He just isn't.
I don't know how many people look at it that way, but neither one of them are to have the... you say the nuclear code, and a lot of people, Chris, a lot of people aren't old enough to actually realize how impactful those nuclear bombs were. I was a kid that totally useless information, but we were taught to not look at the flash, get under our desk, and cover our heads. Like that was going to somehow save us, but it's kind of just I don't know as a nuclear threat is as I don't know if it resonates with people, especially those that are relatively young.
Well, like I said, but speaking on the nuclear stuff, right? You do know that the new nuclear bombs don't have the radiation the old ones do. Are you familiar with that? I just found it out myself.
Yeah. That's why the old ICBMs are really considered the most dangerous, because they haven't all been refitted, and were shorter explosion rate, don't have as much radiation, don't create as much radiation.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, but I want people to keep an eye on this Haiti thing, because it's just going to get bigger and bigger. But I want everyone to remember that what the United States, or what you see on television, is it necessarily the truth, right? This guy
Mm-hmm.
Cherizier and Guy Philippe are, should we say, they're the ones that you want in leadership positions because they're the ones that are actually going to make Haiti a better country. It's really about self determination, um, freedom, and independence from other countries, the international community, from meddling in to their affairs. And that's what Cherizier and Guy Philippe are really aiming for, to let Haiti govern itself for once.
All right, man. Thank you,
Okay,
brother.
hey, thank you.
Talk to you
Sure
soon.
enough, I'll talk to you.
As always, a great thank you to Chris for being here. Great those of you in the chat. Look over and I see peace, love, sunshine. Guy Bassett not going away. Again, Lori Arnold, Pink Flamingo. Thank you all. And pardon me, I couldn't get to the mute button fast enough. Um, I'm not sure when we're going to be back on. It depends on what happens. So a lot of things, a lot of moving parts happening, a lot of things going on, including I had a song come out. I wrote the lyrics to a song, part of producing the song, and the link is in the chat below the video. You can go there and give it a sample. If you like it, download it um, to your music list at any of the sites, iTunes, Spotify, and share it. Let people know, hey, I know this guy that wrote this song, and here it is. So, thanks. I appreciate all of you very much. AmericanDoofus at gmail.com. If you have a question or concern, or you just want to comment, or you want to come on the show, let me know. And if you want to help, download the song, or you can Cash App, same American Doofus, UFUS with a dollar sign in front of it. Um, Peace be upon all of you. Love you like chocolate chip cookies. And we will see you soon. I'm not sure when, but like, subscribe, and share. Mercy. Gosh, I don't know where that came from. Like, subscribe, and share so you'll know the next time we're on. And oh no, not another one. All right.